Welcome aboard Imagination Skyway, your grand podcast tour of the magic. I'm your host, Matthew Krull, and today's episode is going to take us to part 2 of a discussion we kicked off last week about our favorite attraction ride vehicles at Walt Disney World and at Disneyland. I'm once again joined on this podcast episode by my good friends, Brett, Craig, and Vanessa from Beyond the Mouse, who will help identify and discuss the last remaining attraction ride vehicles on our list. Of course, if you didn't yet listen to part 1, I encourage you to head back to our previous podcast episode to hear the first several answers on our respective lists. It really was an enjoyable start to the conversation. At the end of the show, we'll return to Imagination Central, where I'll share some ways in which you can stay connected with Imagination Skyway, how you can discuss this topic with others, and how you can help to support and inspire the future of this show. Please remain seated, keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times, and enjoy your grand circle tour aboard Imagination Skyway.
I think we've all been trying to avoid the biggies
Yes.
because we've been, but I think it's time. Like, your listeners are like, seriously, how far into this episode are they? And they haven't mentioned the Doom buggies from the Haunted Mansion.
I had a great dad joke for that. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
just
Sorry.
fill us with doom and gloom. Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
Well, I'd say you've been dropping the room dead with all these jokes all episode long, Brett. So I would say, it's the development of the Omnimover system. And it's just it's really cool because if you think about the history of the Haunted Mansion, which if you have not listened to Matthew's episode on the Haunted Mansion, he did several years ago, holy moly, go back and listen to that. But it's great because they didn't know what they wanted this attraction to be. There was very late stage designs that this was going to be a walkthrough attraction and really more like a haunted house. And so the idea of the Omnimover system helped to be able to say, okay, how are we going to get so many people through this attraction? And of course, that then goes to so many other attractions throughout the Disney parks, domestically and internationally, to use that as a system that then can move massive amounts of people through a ride in any given hour. And so the Doom buggies have to be on this list. I would be almost shocked if it wasn't on all 4 of our lists. And so I think we finally just need to talk about it.
It was not on my list. No, I'm kidding. It was absolutely on my list. Yeah, the first Omnimover attraction. It's funny. A lot of people, I guess this is according to Bob Gurr at least, miscategorize Omnimovers and what they are. There's actually not that many of them when you actually sit down and think about it. At Walt Disney World, there's the Haunted Mansion. There's also Spaceship Earth. And then the Seas with Nemo and Friends and Under the Sea, the Little Mermaid. I'm probably missing one, but off the top of my head, those are the only Omnimovers I can really think of. But a lot of people will say, for instance, Journey into Imagination is an Omnimover because the vehicles are on a track and they turn and they can pivot in all different directions. But at least according to Bob Gurr's definition, which I'm going with because he invented the Omnimover system, it has to be constantly moving on a track. So think about a moving platform as you're boarding the vehicle, and the vehicles have to be able to turn 360 degrees in, an omnidirectional. So that's your Imagineering lesson for today. But the Doom buggy of all the Omnimovers, because I did go through my head, this is the only Omnimover I had on my list because of that look to it. It's such a unique design. You've never seen anything like it before, but it looks like something that you would find in a haunted house or around a haunted house of some kind. Plus, you have the ghost host talking to you in your Doom buggy. Feels like that ghost host is just talking to you. And the fact that, what I really love about it is that I know that design was intentional so that while on Spaceship Earth, you can literally look all different directions and see around you. By making sure that your view is just focused on what's in front of you, you cannot see behind you. You really can't easily see to the side of you. They can give you that element of surprise. And it does add a little bit to the fear factor because you can't really see what's behind you, especially as you're moving backwards through certain scenes. Like, is there something terrifying behind me in this mansion? So for first time guests, it really does add a little bit of a creepy, spooky factor to it. So brilliant ride vehicle and innovative ride design.
Yeah, and almost, I know it's not meant to be a coffin, but because the edges of the ride kind of encompass you,
Yes.
you feel as if you are trapped, almost as if you are in a coffin as you're going through this haunted mansion. So definitely one of my favorites and on my list.
Well, I never thought of that before. Now I'm going to be completely freaked out. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. But speaking of, if you want to freak someone out, I don't do this anymore, and I don't really suggest anyone do this, but there was a time when you are, in fact, moving into the graveyard, when you are, as the story goes, falling out of the second story, that is the time that you're closest to the vehicle in front of you. So when they're falling out, you can really just reach out and knock on the back of their doom buggy and kind of freak them out. That's the closest place you can do that. Not that we should do that, or I'm giving anyone any suggestions. No, I'm not doing that. I haven't done that for the longest time, but we used to do it.
I'm sure people do that, but just for Disney's sake and for the guests around you,
yes.
Please keep your hands, arms, feet, and feet and legs inside the doom buggy at all times.
At all times.
Until you have to get out of the vehicle. But
right.
yeah, that is it. That doom buggy does get really close. I know it's almost
right
like
there.
in Muppet Vision
That is the
3D.
place.
Like you just want to reach out and like, oh, I can grab this in front of me.
Yes. You just rap with your knuckles. I mean, you don't do that. I did that a few times when I was a child. Now that I would never do that. Well, I haven't done it for a long time. Anyway,
that must be why they called it doom buggy too, because you do fall to your doom. At some point.
I thought that was kind of the story of that. So
that is. But the name is just, I think it has more to do with the feeling you're supposed to get, this feeling of dread getting into the vehicle, or feeling of doom is probably, that is the right word. But that's
it's fun.
A whole discussion in itself. But Greg, I'm glad. Craig, I'm glad that you. Who's Craig? Craig, I'm glad that you let that one out. We have that answer here as well. All right, let's go to after. I don't know how to top that, but Vanessa, let's go to you next.
Oh, well, this one is definitely going to be a favorite for a lot of people. I think there are some locations where you can just sit in it. I think Bob Gurr possibly has one, maybe. But that is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. That car, if you can't do Indiana Jones and you still want a wild ride, that's wild. I mean, you end up in hell, for God's sakes. So, it's fun. You don't really have control of where you're going, but it does feel like it because you've got the steering wheel and you can just kind of turn around and doors are flying open and it feels absolutely crazy, like you're just driving chaotically, and it is so fun, and it's such a fun little vehicle. Not one that is great to share with other adults because it is a small vehicle, but if you can get one all on your own, it is just so much fun.
Definitely a fun experience. Another unique vehicle, one that we miss in the Magic Kingdom, but we do have Winnie the Pooh, which I know my daughter really enjoys. So I have to. It's designed for the younger generations too. And I mean, come on, most of us grew up with Winnie the Pooh. So even as an adult, I still enjoy that ride too.
I don't know that Winnie the Pooh is maybe going to make anybody's list, but the really funny story. So I assumed, because at an after hours event that we were just recently at with Vanessa, I assumed that maybe because it was an attraction for younger riders that Vanessa would like that ride. And she goes, no, it does all the bouncing. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, it only bounces for a second or two. And then I actually wrote it after that. The Tigger scene, that lasts for a while. I mean, that thing is bouncing along for a long time. So just a side note that I don't know, it's like Mandela effect or what, but it just like I thought the Tigger scene was only seconds long, but it is quite longer than that.
Well, note for West Coast visitors to Disneyland, Tigger at the time that Tigger is in the attraction vehicle does not do that, which was disappointing for me, but it would probably be a very good thing for Vanessa and possibly Matthew too.
I actually can handle it. As long as I'm, if I'm already feeling sick, it's not going to help. But if it's, if I'm feeling all right, I actually can handle that. My trick for that one is just to ride in the front row, just to have some visibility. Definitely helps, and it's gentle. It's gentle, but I can see, Vanessa, how like on an off day, I wouldn't be able to handle it either.
Yeah, and like what you just said is it was we had already ridden so many things, and by then I was like, I'm not risking it. I don't want to bounce with Tigger. So, Tigger, you're on your own.
It definitely makes a big difference. So that's a great answer. Brett, you're up next.
Okay. Well, as my co-hosts can attest, it wouldn't be a Brett answer if it doesn't have 27 answers. So I'm going to give you a class of attraction.
And we were never invited back again. Go ahead, Brett.
So no, Main Street vehicles. So I would include the omnibus, the horse-drawn carriage. I don't know if they still have the jitney, but the jitney was a small enclosed vehicle. And then the fire engine, now, this is a cast member when they used to have cast Christmas parties. It was 1927. And they had cast Christmas parties. And this one time, you're a cat. Well, anyway, I was doing shows in Tomorrowland, but we got to run around for a little bit. And, so when the park was opening, that's the night when managers and upper management are taking care of attractions and, doing all of that. So we had, I don't know, must have been someone who was really high up driving the fire engine. So we started on Main Street, but we took a tour. We took a detour to the right and went through Tomorrowland, up through Fantasyland, and then back to, did we go? Well, anyway, it was a detour. So we went on a little tour of the Magic Kingdom in the fire engine, which was great fun. So that's a great memory that no one else will able to enjoy. But please just picture that in your head, that and not the idea of going on a tour of Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom in a fire engine.
Definitely unique.
For those reasons, those are iconic attraction vehicles for me. So.
A whole category.
Taking the whole category. Well, I'm showing it some love because it may not be in everyone else's choices. So
I did think of it, and I did consider putting that on my list as well because it is so old school, iconic. Main Street USA.
About placemaking.
Yeah, transports you back to that era. But it did not make my list. But that's there's as we can attest to, like we haven't had too many overlaps yet. There's just so many iconic attractions. I'm gonna go to one that may have an overlap with maybe some of you, maybe not everybody, but it does fit into, again, I'm thinking about, like, I probably had the same thought process as Craig, where I went with the iconic and innovative vehicles. And this one, it's a vehicle, but you don't think of it as a vehicle when you get on it. And that is the elevators on Tower of Terror.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
I obviously am including attractions on here that I cannot personally ride, but again, that's because I separated the attraction from the vehicle itself and what the vehicle does. So this vehicle, this was mid 90s. It was around the same time Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland was opening up. So we're talking about like an innovative time for both coasts in the U.S. for Disney parks, and this was a case where you have you board, especially if you don't know, like now with YouTube, you can go and look up anything. But if you were a guest going to ride Tower of Terror for the first time, you hadn't really, even the commercials didn't talk about this. You had to have spoken to somebody. You walk past Tower of Terror, you see the elevators, you understand that this is a drop ride. So you get that. And then you board that elevator car and you think that, or that service elevator, and you think you're just going to go up and up and up and then drop. And that's usually what you would expect. But no, you go up and up. You get a couple of creepy scenes, and then the whole elevator moves forward on a track. And that part is the part that I know is, first of all, it's unique. It's the only Tower of Terror in the world that does that. And it was also the first, which makes it interesting that the newer versions don't necessarily do that. They move back and forth into the load and unload area, but that's not part of the show. Like this really is a part of the show, where you move forward through the fifth dimension and then get to the real drop shaft. And at that point, you actually, from a technical perspective, like the elevator car that you're in isn't the one that rises and falls. It locks into the actual mechanism in that other drop tower, or in the drop tower that rises and falls. And same thing when you're in the slower lifts before the fifth dimension scene, you're actually locked into another mechanism that raises and lowers the vehicle that you're in. But then it moves through that fifth dimension scene. It uses the same technology that was on the Universe of Energy. It follows that little copper wire on the floor. A lot of people call it a trackless ride. I mean, yes, there's no literal track, but not quite the same. It is following some guided system, physical guided system to get to the other point. But what a innovative ride vehicle. Again, one that I don't really ride, but that's okay. I still give it a ton of credit for its innovation and its iconic nature.
It was number
Absolutely.
11
Oh my
on my
gosh.
list. So
it's a
I will
backup.
say that, so it was a backup for me. But it is such a great ride, such a great attraction. I really hope that they get that second side working so the wait times don't have to be 120 minutes every time you're in Hollywood Studios. But wonderful way to explain it, Matthew.
That is actually the reason why they changed Tower of Terror, because they knew that if one of the drop towers had to go down for maintenance, that cut 50% of the capacity for the attraction. And they do need maintenance, like to keep it working. It needs maintenance. It's just a routine thing. So now you have 3 drop towers in every Tower of Terror attraction, 6 loading areas, which is insane. So that if they could do one at a time, and you still have more than half capacity, 66% or so capacity. At a time.
I love all of the facts. Thank you.
That's just
Your
what
specialty.
people come here for. So
Yes.
I know
The
our
facts.
listeners listening to this episode are just like, wait, we really do need to listen to more of Matthew.
Yeah,
because
it's like,
clearly-
dang, those the 3 of them together can't have enough brain cells to get us this kind of information.
nonsense. All right, let's go back to Brett. Let's go to you.
Oh gosh. Now we're
Can I ask
getting
a
down
question?
to it.
Because I
Yes.
wonder how many more rounds we have. That way,
That's a good question. So this is good. Let's take a little gut check right here. I have 3 left.
Okay, I can have 3 left. I have 4 technically, but one's really more of an honorary mention.
That's fair. Vanessa, how many do you have left?
I have 3. I can do 3.
Okay.
I have 3, but they're going to be taken. I would have
Yeah,
to get
that's what I'm thinking. I'm
That
like,
is-
oh,
Yeah.
ours might.
I would
mine
have
might
to do
be
a
taken.
blast to the past or something.
We might have 2 rounds left, but this is what happens. I mean, it starts with 10, it really gets whittled down to like 7.
Sure.
But Brett, yeah, let's go to
Ooh,
you for
me.
one of your
Then I'm
last
gonna get
3.
a good one. Cool. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. Okay, now I'm going to have to defer to Matthew for the actual name. Okay, but it would have to be Avatar Flights of Passage, the Banshee, or the whatever you're going to say it is.
This was on my list. It's the link chair.
It's the link chair where you attach yourself to, the computer system matches you and attaches you to an actual Banshee that is out in Avatar land. Yeah, amazing. Well, again, Matthew. Okay, and Vanessa, you haven't done this.
No, I've done Flight of
You have
Passage.
done?
I
You
have.
I
Yeah.
haven't.
Oh,
I take
yeah.
a boning. If I'm on a good day, I can take a boning and be able to handle it. So
And I also think, because I've gone on it in different times, and I think because it's kind of the same type of attraction as, oh my gosh, it just came up with the other one that, the Soren vehicle. Sorry if someone's mentioning that,
I'm not saying a word.
because okay, because there's multiple levels of that. So I have found that if you are kind of in the center of that whole large ride structure, it is less aggressive, shall we say, for those with motion sickness, because there have been a couple of times I've gone out and I'm like going, see, Vanessa could do this. This is fine. And other times, oh, there's no way. There's just no way Vanessa could do this. So, so you kind of, is there a way that you can ask for a certain specific?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You can? Oh,
yeah.
good.
If you
See,
can,
Vanessa,
you can always request. And I've done that before, because you're right, Brett. There's 3 levels: the bottom, middle, and top. And you can request to get the middle one is the best. It's really hard to get because there's only Soarin' has 3, like A, B, and C. So there's like a left, a middle, and a right. Flight of Passage only has 2, a left and a right. But if you get the middle, if you tell them you want to sit in the middle of the screen, they'll know what you're talking about and get you the right chair.
So there you go, Vanessa. And there I will go in the future if I'm feeling the slightest bit of ooey.
In the words of Matthew, I will consider it.
That's all you need. That's all you need. It's it is counterintuitive, because in most cases for attractions, if I need to avoid motion sickness, I choose the front row or something where I can see the side. This is the opposite, because there's really nowhere else that you can look other than straight ahead into the screen, except for like looking at the other guests, but they move with you. So it's very disorienting if you actually look at other guests the whole time. There's really nothing that's 100% stationary that's in your view. So it makes it hard. So you have to actually, to get over the motion sickness, you actually have to fully immerse yourself and make believe that you are flying, because that's the only way. You have to totally convince your brain that this is really happening.
Cool.
And then it's manageable to do.
I will consider this.
That's, you know me, I never pressure anybody, because when the tables are turned, I do not give in to anybody's desires. I'm like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Thank you. If I'm riding this or not. Yeah, but the vehicle design for this is really interesting. So different that, like you mentioned, it compares to Soarin', and it does, but it's a totally different structure.
I mean, you're feeling the lungs expand on the Banshee,
Another vehicle with personality. I talk about this in the Flight of Passage episode, that I did, where it's the one of the few cases where you have 2 vehicle experiences with one vehicle. So when you sit in it for the first time, it's meant to be just a chair. And so it has, it's got the haptics, which are really cool. Like, it makes it feel like something's happening. And it has that computer monitor in front of you. Yeah. So it feels like a chair. Like, that's what it's supposed to feel like, is a chair. But as soon as the shields reveal the screen and you go into that, go through that transition that now you're in Pandora on your Banshee, you can't really see the vehicle below you. But all of a sudden, it feels totally different. It feels like an entirely different vehicle altogether. It feels like a Banshee. But the breathing that you mentioned, Brett, which is, they didn't, like, these are the extra things. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to make the vehicle breathe to make it convincing. But it's just those little things that you really believe you're riding a Banshee. That's incredible. And the fact that, Vanessa, for you, part of the thing that does help is every individual seat is its own central point of motion. So that actually is another factor that helps with motion sickness, because when you're on Soarin', the whole vehicle, like, you could be off center from that point of motion, but every individual link
may
share.
Explain why.
Yeah.
Soarin' really does me in.
Soarin' makes me dizzy.
Simple.
I'm not going to lie. Soarin', especially Soarin' around the world. Soarin' over California didn't do that to me, but Soarin' around the world really does make me queasy. Because the visuals don't really match what you're seeing, and there is more motion on. They've made it a little bit more intense than still tame experience, but a little bit less tame than Soarin' over California. But because the vehicles or the chairs for Flight of Passage are themselves a central point. Like it's on its own pivot. It does make it a little bit better, even if the motions are faster. And it is, I have to admit, it is very smooth. So that helps a lot. Like the motions are extremely fluid. So it feels like you're just flying on air. Nothing ever too wild. And if it does, like there are points where I know I understand the points that visually make me queasy. So if I close my eyes at those scenes, because the motion is just so fluid and it's just like, kind of casually just moving up and down and left and right, nothing too aggressive. It makes it better. Yeah. And the wind in your face and the mist effects, like a lot of things make it more tolerable. So.
So we've talked and so the link chair was on my list as well, but not to jump your order here, but we've talked so much about Soarin' that and how sore in it might make Vanessa and you, but it is such a great ride vehicle. And honestly, I love the story behind it. You may know the Imagineer's name off the top of your head. It's failing me right now, but
Mark Sumner.
Love the story. Yeah, I love the story that he went home at Thanksgiving and found an old erector set, and they were trying to come up with a ride vehicle that could match something to make this work. And here he was building his erector set when his family was meeting up for the holidays, and came back into work the next day and was like, I think we can make this work. You could stack people on top of each other. And so it is one of those that just, again, moved everything forward for Imagineering, and it is such a lovely attraction. That score is just so brilliant and so beautiful. I do, much like I think just about everybody wishes that Soarin' over California would come back at Walt Disney World, and I know that it had been back for a little bit at Disneyland, but it still is just a great attraction, even with Soarin' around the world, and it's definitely one that was on my list for sure.
Great answer for sure. The original flight simulator. But it's such a simple, like the fact that it's a toy in a grand scale is just so cool. So I love that answer too. Vanessa, how about you?
Okay, I feel very strongly about this because I know a lot of people aren't going to think a boat ride deserves to be on this list. But listen, not all boat rides are created equally.
True.
And I was thinking about which boat rides I love the most. And I think that would be Pirates, because it feels like you're walking down into a canal and you're getting on a real boat. Now, this is controversial, but other of the boats, they're very plastic. They're very hard. They kind of lack imagination. I don't like to be in a tube. Don't put me in a tube. Put me in a real river. Small World in Disneyland. So I really like the Pirates boat ride. And if I had to pick one boat ride to do forever, that would be the one I would choose.
It's my favorite boat ride attraction, so I'll agree with you there. I'd actually pick a different vehicle. I don't have any water rides on my list, believe it or not.
Which one am I missing here?
There's two.
The one I thought you would have, Vanessa, clearly. How else are you going to see the backside of water?
Well, I have that on my... Here's what I don't like about that. The reason I didn't put Jungle Cruise list it is because the box in the middle gives me such anxiety, because people step on it and then they yell at them, don't step on it, and it makes me so anxious that Pirates, I just feel like I'm getting in and we're good to go.
Okay. Well, that's Vanessa, fair. I think the way to make the perfect Jungle Cruise ride is to have you be a skipper, because I want that to happen, because you'd be great.
I couldn't agree with you more, Brett. That is the most intelligent thing you've said this whole time, and that is something I'd love to try. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. It's my way I can apologize for the turkey leg.
I will only give my boat ride answers that are actually not on my top 10 list if there are no other boat answers. Nope.
I liked Small World, but you know.
Okay. The two boat I have no boats on my list, but the two boat vehicles I would have picked are the boats on Navi River Journey, because they are small and intimate, 4 to 8 seaters, depending on how they organize the parties, and a unique design, and Living with the Land, because that is a really unique a really unique boat. It has nothing to do with the
Literally-
attraction. I promise. It's the boat.
Literally, I cannot walk by or do that attraction without thinking about you. I just hope you know that like that is what you've done to me. Like every time I'm by that attraction, I'm just like, oh, Matthew. Like every time, literally every time. I mean, Kilimanjaro Safari is a little bit that way, but like for whatever reason, Living with the Land, it's just you, man.
I think I don't let Living with the Land go. It's become attached to me, so I feed into it. Where do I go? All right. I'm gonna go with this one next. It's that I still have two left. This is the again innovative and iconic, or you know what? Not iconic, but unique. No, it's iconic too. What am I saying? It's the Millennium Falcon. Millennium Falcon Smuggler's
sure.
Run. Another one I cannot
Yes.
do, but this is a ride vehicle that is the Millennium Falcon cockpit. That is the most like talk about if you're a Star Wars fan, walking through that door and sitting in the Millennium Falcon, whether you're a pilot, an engineer, or a gunner, like it doesn't matter. That it's just all the fact that they have 200 knobs in there
Wow.
is amazing. And how they manage to, I'll have to do, this is a plug. I will do a Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run attraction episode at some point and
please.
tell you how they manage to make such an efficient attraction, but still make it feel like you're only 6 people getting into the one and only Millennium Falcon. I'll plug that for another time.
Oh, I can't wait for that episode.
Yeah.
Because, when you get into it, you feel like there's only one and you're going on it. You might be taking
Absolutely.
a different journey than last time, but it's just, there's only one of them.
Let's do this.
Yep.
Let's go to our last answer. If you have 2, you can. Does anybody have 2 left?
I like I said, I had an honorable mention. I don't need to mention it. But I can have one last answer.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right, Craig, let's go to you then. I know you just went first last time as well, but let's go to your final answer.
Absolutely. So this is my favorite attraction. I have not done it in Disneyland. I know that it's different in Disneyland. I also know that it's one of the only attractions where they've really tried to incorporate it to every park around the world, and that is Space Mountain. And it's because, again, it's a wonderful way to have your own intimate experience because you're in that single ride car. And then also the fact that there's only 3 of you attached in each of the ride vehicles. Now you have 2 of those, so there's 6 total. But when you get into that dark space, you really kind of feel like you're almost completely on your own going through space. And it's just wonderful. Especially the coaster itself, it really does not ever get up to a large speed or a fast speed, but because of how tight the turns are and everything else, it feels like you're really traveling through space at a high speed. And I love it. Every single time I'm at Magic Kingdom, I have to do it several times. This past trip, I went to Magic Kingdom 4 different days. I did it 4 different days and times. I absolutely love that ride, and it's my favorite in all the parks. And so I had to put Space Mountain on the list.
This is an attraction where not every seat is treated equally. Every seat has a very different feel to it. So, Craig, what is your favorite seat on seat 1 through 6?
I actually like seat 3 because then you get the experience. You're kind of still in the front, but then you also get the experience of seeing those ahead of you, especially when those ahead of you happen to be your friends and they're screaming their heads off. I absolutely love that. I was actually worried about my son was tall enough to ride the last trip we went on, and I was worried about him being on it in an individual seat. But I think because you feel so comfortable in those seats and in that vehicle, he really enjoyed it as well. So if you're ever worried about that with small children, of course, your child, you're going to know them best, but he really enjoyed it still. And so I would recommend trying to do it.
Fair enough. Seat 5 has the least legroom. That is the one thing. Or sorry, seat 4. Seat 4 has the least legroom. That's the one thing I always remember. Vanessa, let's go to you next. What is your final answer?
My final one is Radiator Springs Racers.
How could I
I'm
forget this
surprising
one?
myself that I would say that, but I haven't ridden Test Track. But when Brett took me on it, I really did feel like we were in our own speedy car, and we were whizzing around, and the wind hits your face, and it just felt incredible.
Great answer. I can't believe I didn't think of that one. And I was even thinking of Test Track, which I didn't even put on the list, but I should have thought of that one. Totally a different, and every vehicle has personality there too. Different colors, different characters. Great answer. Brett, what's your last one?
Oh gosh, now I could go on a lot longer now, but oh gosh.
We'll
this
have
is
you pick
hard.
your the last one that you feel like I can't do this episode without mentioning this one.
Oh wow. Okay.
Brett.
Well, okay. This is hard, I know, but I would say that now. Okay, this might sound like a cheat because I'm going to add more than one answer, but talk me through this. Oh, because the Amazing Spider-Man is kind of at Avengers Campus at Disney's California Adventure is kind of like it's suspended from the top, so it counts as a Peter Pan's flight kind of.
Are you talking about
thing,
Web
or-
Slingers?
Yes.
That I believe is still on a track on the bottom.
I'm sorry. I was looking at my notes. I was looking at it incorrectly. But yes. Okay. So I'm not counting. That's not my answer.
Okay, so not Web
So
Slingers.
I'm going to not Web Slingers, but because it's more about the action and not the vehicle. So thank you for talking me out of that. I'm going to show some
wasn't trying.
love. I'm going to show some love for something that I think they were expecting this to be the best experience for every guest, and it's gone through a couple of changes. Okay, and I survive it. So I'm going to say Mission Space. And I've never been. Okay, is it the green one that I don't want to say it's the wimpy version? but it
The
is
orange is. Oh, you say wimpy? Green
Yeah.
is the tame version.
Yeah, tame. That's a much nicer word. Thank you. Tame. I've never been on the green. I've only been on the orange. And and I've got to say, when it first came out, and I mean, people were really getting sick and all of that, so that wasn't a good thing. But they were talking to astronauts, and they said to take a mint, and when you're being launched into space, is to suck on a mint or have a banana. Anyway, I took the mint, and so so if we can take me back to that time briefly, so I bought mints at. Then it was Centurium, the place where you would get gifts. So I had themed mints, and I had mints. So I walked into the attraction. I had a mint in my mouth. I was preparing for this, Mission Space. Haha. Anyway, and I was assigned engineer. I was kind of, in the first time I went, I was a party of one. So I was kind of like the crazy uncle with the family, and so I'm about ready to get in the actual vehicle, and I realized that my mint is gone. My mint is gone, and my life depends on it. So I am fumbling through the tin mints again, and I'm putting a mint in and putting it in my pocket so I can go into space. I follow the rules. I only looked ahead, and yeah. But that vehicle is based on the actual training modules, isn't it?
That's right.
So that's pretty impressive. And I think they were expecting everyone to really enjoy that. And it never was. I think
I gotta
Soren
say,
Soren happened shortly thereafter, and Soren was the big one when they thought it would be Mission Space.
I got to say, Matthew, you got to save this thing. We can't lose listeners. We can't leave this episode on Mission Space as the final thing. So you gotta save us here.
I did save a good one for last. I don't know if it's the best one, but so mine is another.
Sure it is.
It's another roller coaster. X2 Deep Space Shuttle is a good answer, Brett. But the so it's a train. It is one of the longest trains at Walt Disney World. It is the T trains on Expedition Everest: Legend of the Forbidden Mountain. A favorite attraction for a lot of people. I love the fact that it has a little bit of personality. The fact that there's real steam that it seems like it's coming out of the vehicle. It's surrounding the vehicle when it loads into the station is pretty cool. But this is a long coaster car. So talking about each row is a different experience, especially when it goes forwards and backwards. The T trains, the design of them, the story behind them, go back and listen to an Expedition Everest episode that I did, and
Okay.
you'll get some more information about them. But really cool backstory to the fact that, by the way, they're called T trains. There's a reason that these are T trains. So a little bit of a plug for you to dig a little bit deeper into what that is. But we've rounded out this full list here, so I have one final rapid fire question. If you could pick one ride vehicle that you would say is your absolute favorite, what would it be? I'll go and do my answer first, just because I feel like I posed such a big, impossible question. It's unfair. I'm actually going to give Craig's answer, the Tembo trucks on Kilimanjaro Safaris, because of my personal history with being able to drive them, and just how unique they are too. So that's my answer.
I'm going to throw you for a complete loop here and completely cheat. But my listeners would know that I just completed my first marathon at Walt Disney World. My favorite ride vehicle that was not mentioned today are your own nice pair of running shoes as you're running around Walt Disney World property during a Run Disney event. But if you wanted an actual answer to this, I would say that I have to stick with Space Mountain and those ride vehicles. It's just incredible, and it's my favorite attraction. So it makes sense that those ride vehicles would be my favorite as well.
Vanessa, how about you?
Oh, this is just so tough. I've only done it in Disneyland and on the one trip, but I think today in this moment I want to say the Indiana Jones ride. I think that's just the most fun, and let's see if Brett agrees with me.
I will agree with you, but again, staying on track, since you chose that, I fully agree with that. That is my favorite attraction. But I must mention the Omnimover, because it's both, the Doom Mobile, it's the Clamshell Mobile, and so many other ways to go through attractions. So as far as a vehicle, let's give our props to Bob Gurr. Mm-hmm.
I love that. And what a great way to round out our discussion. I know we've been chatting for a while, but I really love going through this list. If any of the listeners out there do not follow Beyond the Mouse, please do give them a listen. They offer some incredible episodes to go back, some amazing interviews, really amazing interviews to go back and listen to as well. But to all three of you, to Brett, Craig, and Vanessa, thank you so much for joining me, and hope you have a magical day. And look out for these attraction vehicles when next time you go to the Disney parks.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having us, Matthew.
Yeah, thank you.
We can't tell you how much your podcast helps us get through our Disney downers after we get back from a trip, and you do such great work. So keep it up, and we're so excited for your rebranding and where you're going to be going in the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Welcome back to Imagination Central. I sincerely hope you enjoyed part 2 of our discussion, which capped off the last remaining attraction vehicles we had on our list of favorites. Once again, I want to sincerely thank my friends at Beyond the Mouse, Brett, Vanessa, and Craig, for joining this discussion. If you don't already, please be sure to subscribe to Beyond the Mouse on your favorite podcast app and check them out on social media as well. All their podcast episodes are incredible, but I especially enjoy their interviews with some of your favorite Disney legends and celebrities. They have some incredible guests that they've had on the show before, and they really put on such an enjoyable show. Of course, I want to turn this conversation over to you and hear, just like I asked in part 1, which Disney attraction vehicles you enjoy the most. Let us know if you have your own top 10 list and why you feel those particular ride vehicles are some of the best that Disney has to offer. You can submit your answers and join the conversation by finding Imagination Skyway on your favorite social media channels. I've posted this question to several locations, including our Instagram page and our Facebook group, all of which you can find links to over at imaginationskyway.com. If you don't already subscribe to the show, I encourage you to hit that subscribe or follow button, whether you're listening to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartMedia, Amazon Music, or any other podcast app. Better yet, if you have a moment to leave us a rating or a review in that podcast app, especially Apple Podcasts and Spotify, that really goes a long way to help the show out because it increases our relevance if somebody searches for a related topic in these apps, and it encourages others to check out our podcast episodes if they come across the show and haven't done so already. As always, I want to give a huge thanks as well to our Patreon members. The show truly would not be possible without your support. You can learn more about how to contribute to the show, how to unlock a tremendous amount of bonus content, and join a private community of listeners and events by heading to imaginationskyway.com/community. There you'll find the current benefits that are available to our supporters of the show and how you can become a part of that community. And when you're ready to book your next trip to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Aulani, or any other Disney destination, be sure to check out our travel partners, Magical Park Vacations, by heading to magicalparkvacations.com or finding them on social media at Magical Park Vacations. They are a team of travel agents who can help you to plan and book your next Disney vacation. They are who I personally use to book my Disney vacations and who I recommend, which is why I am thrilled to have them as an official sponsor of Imagination Skyway. Like most travel agents, their services are complimentary to you, but they offer a level of service and expertise that is some of the best in the business. You can get started again by heading to magicalparkvacations.com or find Magical Park Vacations on social media. Plus, if you're looking for a little extra support on your next Disney vacation, or a whole lot of extra support, I encourage you to reach out to WDW Park Planners over at wdwparkplanners.com. They take the planning process a step further by offering a concierge service that creates a personalized day-by-day itinerary for you and your family, plus virtual trip support that you can access while you're on your Disney vacation. WDW Park Planners is perfect for families who really want to make the most of their next vacation. This team of planners will work to understand your family's individual preferences and come up with the absolute best game plan for your vacation. They've offered me some incredible tips and have come up with some incredible plans for my vacations, and I know that they can do the exact same for you. Again, you can learn more and work with them by heading to wdwparkplanners.com or find WDW Park Planners on social media. Last but not least, I want to encourage you, as I always do, to go after your dreams and your goals, big and small, no matter what they might be. And as Walt Disney would say, quit talking and begin doing. Make the most of every single day and go make your dreams come true. Thank you so much for riding aboard Imagination Skyway. And remember, if we can dream it, we can do it.
Howdy, folks. Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times. Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, 'cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
When you're at Walt Disney World Resort for the world's most magical celebration, every moment is amazing, the joy is never-ending, and the memories last a lifetime. Because when you celebrate with us, nothing could be more magical.
Contact Magical Park Vacations to book your Walt Disney World Resort vacation today. Call 585-662-3686 or visit magicalparkvacations.com.